Hello and welcome to the third race of the season here at Zandvoort. Very glad to have you here watching. Here's the starting line for today's race. Munib Peskic from Bosnia got the pole. 25 cars on the entry list, as usual. A lot of promising young competitors, all here looking for the win in Holland. Next we'll have the drivers who failed to qualify for today's race, Matt Corio, Russell Arcuri, and Samantha Yankee for the third race in a row. Munib Peskic, as we said, got the pole in the 97 car, the Bosnian driver making his first start. What better way to start it off by getting the pole? Very good run for him this weekend. 4-car Matt Evans, who won at Talladega just last race, is going to have a problem on the start. He punctured a tire on the pace lap. Only Matt Evans would. He would fall very far behind today, running near the back of the pack for most of the race. This is Ian Perfetti in the 56. He made his first start last week, running a top 10 finish. He can prove that he's a really good driver. This was on turn 1 on lap 1, immediately taking the lead away from Munib Peskic. Speaking of, here's Munib Peskic running in second. Random Rappers is on the hood of the car. Very underfunded team, but he's making it work. Car number 97 did a marvelous job this weekend. Did very good in the qualifying race for this. Made his way in. Trying to get some good finishes for his underfunded team. This is David Yankee. He also missed last race. Car number 07 looking to get himself locked in. Not sure if he can do it this race, but if he keeps up the consistent qualifying races, he may just have a shot. Sam Yankee, his teammate, as I mentioned earlier, did not qualify for the race. The team is very low on funding. Early on in the race, Michelle Citadino would get off track slightly. A lot of cars would do that today, including John Citadino and Gabe Carraz. We're not going to really cover those too much because they're very minor events. Moving forward, this was on the same lap. Matt Evans was being a bit of a back marker, and not a good one either. A lot of the leaders were getting really mad at Matt Evans for blocking them so heavily despite being severely off the lead lap. I'd play some of the radio transmissions, but there's so much cursing, I don't think the children watching would appreciate that. Matt Evans holding up the pack. That holding up the pack by Matt Evans would help Munib Peskic. He would zoom around the 56 car, leading some laps today. Very good job for the 97 car. Got a lot of tough competitors up front. Right behind him, we got Ian Perfetti, of course, the purple car of Jamie Murphy, and we got that red and white of John Citadino running fourth. This was a few laps later. Tyler Smith, the Bristol winner, running very well. Going into turn 1 in a very good fashion. I have a terrible thing with adjectives. I use very and good a lot. I'm a terrible broadcaster, but Tyler Smith is in the lead. Not all of the people who did well in early races were doing good today. Dan O'Neill, wait for it, dive bomb right into the wall. I have no idea why he did that. Then after that, he's going to pull down into the chain link. I think he may have a steering issue or something wrong with the axle. He cannot get that car turned left. Yeah, he's going to fall way far behind. We're going to still follow him. Look at his lap here. Yeah, look, cuts through the grass. Sliding through, trying to keep that car on the racetrack. It's going to be hard for the 02. Dan O'Neill, as we see him plowing up into the hay barrels. He ran so well at Bristol. And then at Talladega, it just went way back to the pack. Did not finish very well there. And now, this is dismal. He's slowed down to a crawl. On a normal track, we would call a caution for this, but because Zandvoort's such a large racing facility, messes get cleaned up very easily here, so no cautions are being thrown in this race. And yeah, he's gonna limp down the hill, going into the turn, and he hits the brakes on it for some reason. I'm not sure. Is he having trouble getting that stopped? Despite the problems, he would get back out on track, but would be 2 laps off the pace. Then Tyler Smith is going to say goodbye to that lead. Ian Perfetti would take the lead. This is about a lap after that Dan O'Neill incident. Ian Perfetti, showing that you didn't have to run the Bristol race to be a successful driver. This is only his second start, and he is leading once again. This has been a superb run for the 56 machine. And then, trouble strikes the 97. Munib Peskic's going to hit the wall. And I think he got caught in the reverse gear. And he'll park it up there. He would have to get a tow truck to bring him down to pit road. This is from his onboard, and yeah, he was going into the turn way too quickly, almost hit into Jamie Murphy, but he steered out of the way, wrecked himself into the wall. At least he thought about the 44 cars race when he decided to do that. Yeah, it's not going to end well for Munib Peskic after running so well all day. A few laps later, Tyler Smith passing the grass to the outside, and he would get past Ian Perfetti in the 56. The 31 machine just doing an excellent job today. You gotta really applaud the Smith Motorsport team. Then, a little after halfway, about lap 27, pit stops. These are all the drivers in the back. That is Brian Brote, Renee Gagnon. I believe I see Josh LeMayo, Tyler Benoit, Megan Curley, and Brian Valentine. Then the second wave of pit stops came in. Tyler Smith led them all down. And pretty much every single driver that didn't pit in that first wave stopped on this particular stop, except for two, Dan O'Neill and Matt Evans, who decided to stay down an extra lap so he can get one lap closer to the field. He was very, very close to being put off the lead lap. But just like everything else today, it just wasn't working. He had a terrible pit stop, one of the slowest I've ever seen. He's going to have a talk with his crew, because that would put him a lap down. Just the opposite of what he wanted for his plan. Matt Evans, the Talladega winner, having a rough day today. Biggest winner off pit road, Brian Brote. He went from running about 13th to being in the race lead. And another driver who pit on the same wave of pit stops as him, Renee Gagnon, would be second on the grid. Tyler Smith would be pushed back to third. Brote's been running averagely throughout these races. He's never shown too big of a performance in the 42 car. Excuse me. But he's doing a pretty bang up job today. There's Munib Peskic, who was slightly ahead of Brian Brote. He was already one lap off the pace due to that incident earlier in the race. It's a shame. He had such a good day running in the Random Rappers Ford, but it just came crumbling down. He's going to have to try and race his way into the next event, which is Rockingham. Poor Munib Peskic. It's just heartbreaking. He was one of the biggest news stories this weekend, getting that pole for this underfunded team. Just not going to work. Brian Brote would lead the next 14 laps unscathed. Lap 42 of 42. Brian Brote was out in front. The good guy at the track. Everyone loves seeing Brian Brote. Always giving everyone a friendly hello. Always helping out with other people's cars. Giving them assistance. Brian Brote wins the race. And later on in the season, we're going to have a all-star event type thing in Monaco, where we're going to have all the race winners after the top first 10 events all race for cash prizes. He's going to be a part of that. Here are the race results. Brian Brote was your winner, followed by Renee Gagnon, Tyler Smith, Josh LeMayo, good finish. Tyler Benoit, 25th he started. He's going to finish 5th. Ian Perfetti rounding out the top 10. David Yankee at 12th, not bad for him. John Cittadino and Maria Camiso, not the runs they wanted today, especially Cittadino, who started in the top 5. Matt Evans, Munib Peskic, Dan O'Neill round out the field. They were all off the lead lap. Here are the point standings, your top 10. Tyler Benoit has an immaculate lead over Renee Gagnon. Over 11 points. This is a very big lead there. All the drivers behind them are all pretty close, so it's still anyone's game. Next race, we're going to be going to the Rock. Short track racing at Rockingham, North Carolina. Today's race was sponsored by Tasty Treat. Yum!